President Biden and congressional lawmakers try to reach a deal on the debt ceiling. Small businesses are raising some concerns about how potential default could impact them, especially if they rely on government contracts. Many are already struggling due to record high inflation and the failure of some banks. So I want to bring in Javier David. He is the managing editor for business and markets at Axios and a CBS News contributor. All right, so let's talk about this. I know, we're fingers crossed that they figure it all out, but they are kind of running out of time. How could a government default impact small businesses?
Yeah, so this is akin to like when the government shuts down. Like these debt ceiling negotiations spark a lot of uncertainty, and it's something investors particularly abhor. But like, there's a lack of immediate transparency about like what gets paid, what gets prioritized, who's going to like not be left out in the cold. But there's a way in which all of the government's money kind of makes its way into the economy. Small businesses are contractors. They are like small businesses, food vendors, close to government agencies that might get shut down. The government, there's this mad dash or scramble to try and figure out basically what's going to get prioritized, who's going to get paid, like how they're going to shuffle the bills. But I think discussions like these are important because it kind of highlights how small businesses are really integral to the economy. At least 40% of economic activity, according to the Small Business Administration. There are a lot of ways they get grants, they get loans. And they never really fully recovered from COVID. So this is just yet another thing that they have to sort of try and navigate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, the feeling is that this is going to get done. I mean, the effects of having this not being worked out are catastrophic. I mean, just set the big picture for us.
We don't really know what will happen, but here's what we do know. The government won't be able to issue more Treasury debt. Treasury bonds, everything issued by the U.S., basically with the full faith and credit of the United States, the most liquid instrument in the world. There's a reason why this market is so big. A lot of banks and other institutions have it on their books. It would be a real like travesty if they could not do this or not just get debt out the door. Entitlement payments, Medicare, Social Security, people that rely on transfer payments from the government, they're not going to get paid. There's a real question about how they would make that managed. There's also another discussion about what constitutes a default, like a couple of days where we lapse and they're still haggling. But I think that the key thing here is they want for the two parties to keep talking to the extent that no one has broken off negotiations and said, we have an impasse. Whenever you see, if you see the word impasse or like, hit a snag or whatever in a headline, then we're in trouble.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I thought to myself, okay, how bad is it if we hit June 1st and, the ink's not dry yet or they haven't signed it yet, but by June 2nd, it is. I mean, does that still trigger some sort of domino effect? And
that's the real question. And we're waiting to hear more guidance from the ratings agencies because they'll be basically the ultimate arbiters. They could do what S&P did in 2011, which created a lot of controversy, which is downgrade the U.S. I think a lot of them are loath to pull the trigger on something like that, particularly if discussions are still ongoing and the date comes and goes, but they're still at the table. Like I think a lot of this will be determined by the willingness of the White House and the Congress to continue talking. Nobody wants some sort of an economic or financial cataclysm on their hands. All of the parties will get the blame, regardless of whether there's all of this finger pointing and who's at what. The bottom line is our leaders know that they need to come to a solution, and they know that whatever sort of spillover effect that happens will be on them collectively.
The other thing that I think people aren't considering is the negotiating that's happening between the White House and Republicans, right? I mean, we're talking about what small businesses would do in the case of a default. But the flip side is what happens when, for example, the Republicans get what kind of cuts they're looking for. There are things that affect Americans that are in these negotiations. My sense is every year we get to this point, or every time we're faced with the debt ceiling, whether or not to raise the debt ceiling, we are at an impasse. But it's usually the things that are within the negotiations that can have a more detrimental effect on ordinary Americans.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look, I've said this before, and I'll say it again for those who didn't hear me the first time. Government spending is inflationary. And the reason why it's inflationary is because there are various ways, various and sundry, that the government sort of sends money into the economy. It stimulates demand, but there are people that rely on this money. So small businesses, like I said, they get loans, they get grants. They're reliant on federal dollars in a lot of different ways. And you just can't predict. Like everyone talks about, hey, let's cut spending, let's do this, let's do that. But everyone has their sort of pet projects, and nobody wants to see small businesses sort of be left out in the cold, or for that matter, particularly because we just came out of this pandemic era. A lot of them grappling with inflation, grappling with, supply chain woes, and the inability to pay their workers what other big companies can. Not every company is an Amazon or a Microsoft. Yep. They're small for a reason, and there's only so much resources and client base that they can use to kind of navigate the economy and their situation.
And just sort of to be clear, when you talk about, the possibility of programs being cut that small businesses depend on, we're talking about future money.
Yeah.
The debate right now is about paying for the debt that's already been incurred, but what could happen down the road,
That's right?
Right?
Yes. Javier, always great to have you, my friend. Thank you very much, as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Sure.